Again, hello everyone. Look, welcome to today. It's amazing to have you all here. Clicking buttons, there we go. Okay. It's amazing to have you all here and amazing to have you within this container. Hello. There's so many hellos. Love seeing that. Look, we are here today to talk about courage clients and cash codes. Give me some fuck yes in the chat box. All right. If you are ready to create a wildly profitable high ticket offer that is so good people literally feel silly saying no, all right, fuck yes. Hashtag fuck yes. Hashtag impact. So look, as I just said a minute ago, I'm just going to quickly repeat it. We are getting through a lot today, so I will power through probably as I die on protein bar. I will probably power through this sort of first section, all right? Because there are a couple of pieces that, we want to unpack with a little bit more detail to just really, as I said before, give you the fucking juice, all right? We are here to talk about, seven-figure business strategy. And the reason that we're here to talk about seven-figure business strategy, regardless of whether you are currently, 0K to 100K, or whether you are, already making $100,000 and you're wanting to go multi-six, or you're already multi-six and you're wanting to take it, high multi-six, seven, and beyond, right? The reason we talk seven-figure business strategy is because don't you want to collapse time and space? Like if something, why spend the next year, like hustling to get you to $100,000 or, a couple of $100,000 or something like that, when literally you could learn seven-figure business strategy that you could implement right now into your business that is going to help you scale and grow faster, right? Wouldn't we want that? I want to make it easy for you. I've learned all the lessons. I've made all of the mistakes. Oh my God, have I made the mistakes? Alicia and I were talking about that yesterday, right? Like I've done all the things. And where I've landed is, that there are particular things that we're talking about today. I was like, fuck, I wish I had known that somewhere in the beginning, many years ago. All right. And so I'm bringing you that juiciness today. We obviously are here to talk about high ticket offers in particular, and we'll kind of touch on a little bit of why. If you've been in the community group and you've watched the last couple of days of videos as well, you're kind of getting the point, right? Like, high ticket, like why do we want to go high ticket? Like, well, we'll just wait and discover that again today together, shall we? So, oh, who knew that was going to, there it is. Okay. All right. I know what you're thinking. All right. Like, she's going to try to sell to us. Like, like I'm going to spend the last, 15, 20 minutes or something like that, in some kind of big sales pitch. I'm not, just so you guys know, we're not here for that today. That's totally fine. I just want to make a promise to you, all right? And let's make a promise with one another that we are just going to have some fun today, all right? While we learn all of these different amazing things, all righty? We've got lots of little models that are just going to gel with your brain and you're going to be like, oh my God, I understand that so much better now, all right? So today is really for epic amounts of information purposes. All right. I want to throw so much value at you, and then, for those who qualify, we're able to line up like a one-on-one, within the next week to really unpack, everything that we've learned today, more specifically to you. All right. So can we make that promise that we're just going to have some fun today? We're going to learn some things. We're going to interact, and we understand that it's cool. I'm not going to pitch to you. You are safe in this space. All right. Fuck yes. Let's do this. So what is my desire then? Well, my desire is, as I said, to give you guys massive amounts of value. All right. That's why I'm going to power through this kind of initial like introduction, getting to know you sort of section, right? So we can literally get to these particular things. Number one, I want to tell you about the three biggest mistakes that I see across the coaching industry. All right. And I want to solve those mistakes for you. So I'm going to tell you what they are and what the fuck to do instead. All right. The second thing is I want you to understand, it sounds kind of boring. I absolutely love it, but it's called seven-figure business modeling. All right. I want you to understand the secrets to selling high ticket, because selling high ticket is so much more than, oh, okay, I'm just going to up my prices. Like that's not actually selling high ticket, and as we, discovered in the last few days, if you're not necessarily, what to say? You're probably not someone who doesn't necessarily buy things high ticket. I'm sure you've got something high ticket. It could be your car, as I said the other day, it could be sunglasses, it could be a piece of jewelry. You've probably bought something high ticket before. Perhaps it's been, coaching and things like that. There is, nothing I spend more money on than myself in terms of like coaching and investing and learning and all of those amazing things, right? High ticket is going to mean different things to all of us. All right. What is high ticket to me is going to be what's, different to high ticket to you, different to, whatever. Like, we are just going to land here today in a space that with an understanding that your nervous system is going to have to play catch up, right? To wherever it is that your kind of money and pricing thermostat is at right now. All right. So there is no right or wrong answer here in relation to, what the hell constitutes high ticket. To an extent. And I also can't really put a dollar figure on it for you. All right. You know what high ticket is for you. And if you haven't paid a particular level for something, it may feel a little bit misaligned in your nervous system to charge a particular thing as well. And so we're just putting that information there. I'm not saying you can't charge something that you've never paid. Like, no, there are no rules. All right. But I'm just saying to be mindful that your nervous system is going to have to play a little bit of catch up, and if I said to you today, hey, you're going to run a mentorship program, you're charging $50,000 for it, some of you would have a heart attack, trying to do that or asking somebody for that amount of money or, and then if they said yes, you'd probably have some imposter syndrome and maybe have a little bit of a meltdown. I fucking sidetrack. I love business for this exact reason, because not only am I going to sit here and teach you strategic business today, but no amount of strategy is going to out strategy like some kind of behavioral pattern that is showing up for you, and I also believe that there's a universal portion to play as well. And so when I do business with people, and I support coaches like you guys, like we're here today, I make sure we cover the gamut. We need to do business strategically, absolutely, yes, but also behaviorally, the you part. I'm looking at my time, it's 1:11, so that's interesting. I must be on a good thing. Behaviorally as well, because we need to unwind, your pricing thermostat, what constitute high ticket, how's your nervous system, what patterns, what did you learn as a child, all of these amazing things, and a little bit of universe in there too. And so today I want you to leave with a 7-figure business model, all right, or an understanding of 7-figure business modeling, so that you can sell high ticket and you understand the secrets to doing that, and you don't make the big mistakes that we're going to learn about today also. And then, we're going to be able to really individually, curate your offers specifically, all right, with you in mind, with your life in mind, with what you want, what are your goals, like all these different things, because yes, I love 7-figure business modeling. Yes, we're going to be learning that today, but it is also about fitting that into you as a real human as well, and your desires and your life and your, goals and all of those amazing things. All righty. Said I'd power through this section. I'm not doing well so far. Every person has a high ticket offer inside of them. All right. So if you're sitting there right now and you're like, I don't really know what it is, I got you covered. All right. Like, I promise you, literally, and there's a couple of people on here who have done exercises with me before. Honestly, I can help you unpack your high ticket offer in probably less than 15 minutes. And not as in like, here, let me dictate it all to you, but as in like, the coach in me will help you draw the answers outside of you. And you'll probably sit there in a little bit of shock, because you'll be like, oh my God, I didn't realize, like, yeah, Carissa's saying it's true, because Carissa knows I've done this live in a masterclass, with people before, right? Because I promise you, everyone has a high ticket offer inside of them. You just may not realize what that is yet. And sometimes we get this amazing thing called maybe like creative amnesia, where as soon as we sit down and go, I should create a high ticket offer, again, we kind of like fry our nervous system and we're like, I don't know what that should look like, or, here are the inclusions or something like that. And we list out a bunch of features, and really, I promise you, like, that is not what going high ticket is all about, as we'll learn today. So the problem that you're probably having right now, and so the problem that you're probably having right now is that you are having feast and famine. So let me know if this is you. All right, give me some like hands up. You're probably having feast and famine. Maybe you are in some kind of perpetual launch. Like you're, every month or two you're launching a new program. You're constantly reinventing the wheel or blowing things up or trying to hit the mark. You're having periods where you're like, yes, I've made a bunch of money, but then you probably have to pay off a bunch of things. Resonates, right? Um, and so yeah, you make a bunch of money and then you're almost back in scarcity again. And so you freak out. So you create something else and then you've got money again, but then you're back in scarcity again. And then, you've got leaky energy buckets, leaky time buckets, leaky income buckets. All right. You're probably trading far too much one-on-one time for money, and you need to find a system that can actually leverage and scale and grow with you. All right. Let me tell you, like nothing burns me out more than, one-on-one. And I love doing one-on-ones. I love, anybody who's been on the phone with me, I'm like so fucking present with you and like, unpacking and doing the thing and all the rest of it, right? I can only do a certain amount of those like in any day because it's such a big energy give. All right. And so if we're literally trading that one-on-one time for money, you are going to be capped. You will hit a time ceiling, you will hit an energy ceiling, and you will hit an income ceiling. So there is a better way. And the other major symptom, and again, like full honesty here, right, you guys, like, because you can only be, honest with yourself. The biggest symptom that I see is often that the people that you love most are getting the worst of you. And I am a culprit of this as well. I work very hard and I like, because by choice, not out of hustle and scarcity. But I love, doing lots of different things and stuff like that and whatever. And, I'm a bit of a burnout kind of a human and it's my own fault, and I have to watch that. Right. And so sometimes I'm crabby. And so sometimes the people that, I love most literally get like the worst version of me because I'm present and I'm alive and I'm doing all the things here and then I die later, So we want to balance these things out. Yeah, fuck the ceiling. Fuck all of the ceilings. You want to have time. You want to have energy. You want to have freedom of lifestyle, freedom of choice, freedom of finances. All right. This is what we want for you. And that is what going high ticket and having 7-figure business modeling and all the different things that we're learning today are going to enable, for you in your life. Right. I don't just preach this because it's my thing. It's my thing because I know business. I have literally, it might be, there's a slide in a minute. I've been running $1 million businesses on behalf of other people as well since I was 19, multi-million-dollar businesses, right? And as I said, what I've seen across it is that there is, a way to do business and there is a way not to do business. So we are here for the solution of creating wildly profitable, high ticket offers so good people feel silly saying no. This is the solution to those problems. This is the solution if you've got those symptoms that are showing up for you. All right. So just quickly, why am I the amazing human that gets to sit here, saying these things to you today? I don't know, really. Look, I am a multimodality health professional. Basically, what that means is that if there is a qualification in it, and I'm not talking about a certificate, like a certification or a certificate, if there is a qualification in it, I've probably fucking done it. I won't list them all out for you today, but, please understand I'm probably qualified in over 25, 30 things. It took 3 of us, recently to remember. Like we had to sit there workshopping and they were like, oh, you've done this and you've done that. And I was like, fuck, I completely forgot, whatever, right? So I'm a multimodality health professional. I've worked across the board in health spectrums. I'm obviously a business mentor and a high ticket offers coach. The coach in me helps you find the answers that are already inside of you. And the business mentor in me tells you what the fuck to do. All righty. I am obsessed with $1 million businesses. I have been obsessed with that for so long, but I come from a place of that, the more wealth in the hands of good people means the more good is going to happen in the world. And I selfishly, and I'll tell you in a minute, I've brought you into my world of making, wanting you to be filthy fucking rich so that you can go out there and affect other amazing humans. I want to learn and grow until the day I die. I am a transformational leader of a social enterprise. And if you don't know what that means, let me tell you, you are actually one too. right? You are a transformational leader of a social enterprise. What that means is that you transform lives for a living. How fucking awesome is that? This is what we get to do every single day, you guys. Like, it's an honor. It gives me goosebumps to think about that. All right. And so I truly want I truly want for all of us not only to have amazing, impact and be service driven and to go out there and help other people, but also, we get to make fuck tons of money while doing it. All right. You get to be, spiritual as fuck, happy as fuck, and banked as fuck too. All right. So my greatest goal or my mission on this planet is to unlock greater human potential. All right. That is what I want to do, and yes to those. Fuck yes, right? I want to unlock greater human potential. And this is why I say, the reason that we're here, the reason this is no pitch is because selfishly, I've dragged you all into my evil plan, right? Because if I can help and support you to unlock your greatest fucking potential through, high ticket offers and programs that sell themselves, then you're going to go out there as a coach and help so many more people. And in that regard, my reach is, exponential. All right. So that's why I promised today that today is about value. Today is about you. And today is about this fucking mission to simply unlock something in you. And not everything today is going to resonate with every one of you. And that's okay. But what I trust is that you are going to get, 1 to 3 gold nuggets from today. And let's use the word, the silliest thing that you could do is to take those things, that wisdom that you learn, and not go out there and action something off the back of it. That's why I'm offering, our chats, like obviously so that, you can take this stuff today and then be able to actually action it in real time. Success loves speed. All right. And so we want to make sure, that is what we're doing. Success also leaves clues. So what would it mean, all right, to you if you could make $40,000 a month? All right, what would that mean to you? That's $500,000 year. All righty. What would it mean to you if you could make, $100,000 a month? What would it mean to you right now for some of you, oh my gosh, that you're going for $20,000 a month? Right? Whatever that figure is for you, we're getting a lot of yes, please. Never happened before. It would be so life-changing. Absolutely. Let me tell you this. I hit $40,000 a month 3 years ago during lockdown, during the peak of lockdown. I think it was 2021, so 2.5 years ago. All right. And what that meant for me was at that time was so much, right? Like we paid off our mortgage. Like at that time, I would have been 35. I paid off a mortgage at the age of 35, right? Making $40,000 a month. What was also really amazing at that time, and a little bit previous to this 2020, was that I was making approximately $20,000 a month. I had locked that in. And not only that, but I knew that for the next 15 months in advance, that regardless of whether I did anything more, I would still be making $20,000 a month for 15 months in advance, right? This is future proofing. All right. My greatest, again, selfish desire for all of you is that we, are able to future-proof you and your business so that if something was to happen, good or bad, right? If you want to go on a holiday for 4 weeks, you can, and you're still going to be making all of that money and it's not going to drop off and there's not going to be some repercussion, like we call it a sales lag. Like if you didn't sell for a month, in about the next 2 or 3 months, you would end up with a dip in your finances, right? And then you'd probably be back in scarcity and you'd have to scurry. Imagine knowing, and you pick your figure, imagine knowing for 15 months in advance that you had $20,000 coming in, regardless of if you sold a single thing again, or $40,000 or $100,000, right? That is the world that we get to play in. It is absolutely possible, And so by actioning some of the things that I teach you today, you are going to collapse time and space in relation to you being able to get there. All right. So have a bit of a think, honestly, like like, yeah, everybody's like, yep, I would be happy. Like, yes, people feeling like they're scraping by and things like that. Yeah, totally. And do you know what this actually meant for me as well? Like, while we're here and talking about future proofing, is that probably at the end of 2022, and some of you know this, I actually got a little bit sick, and I was sick for 3 months. All right. I was sick for 3 months. And for that 3 months, I did what we call client promises. So I looked after the clients that I already had. All right. And I made sure that they were fine. And I did the things, and I literally pared back everything else. And I continued to get paid. And even if I had to tap out entirely, my business is future proofed so that there are others that would be able to take on, the responsibility, that load for an amount of time, so that I could actually step out of my business. Alrighty. So this is what I want for all of you. It's not about dusting off your hands and being like, all right, I don't fucking have to do anything. Love that. I love what I do. I want to show up and do these kinds of things every single day. Absolutely. Right. But it is about being intelligent and understanding that, life, #life, you guys, stuff happens, And so if we can implement 7-figure business modeling, and we can understand that to scale and grow, you may also need to bring on some team at some point in time, and that you should be, regardless of whether you're 0 to 10K a month right now, or wherever, like 0, whatever, 80K to 100K, if you haven't future-proofed your business, and if any single thing relies on you or any other one individual alone, let me tell you, like, we need to have a chat, all right? Because that is a dangerous business game to play. Alrighty. So let's jump in. All right. Let's talk about people are like, yes, I need future proofing. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's not natural. Like, it's not something that, like, I've studied business, many, many years ago. One of the about 3 of the qualifications in there are business qualifications, right? And I can tell you, future proofing and balancing life and business and all of these kinds of things were definitely not taught, right? Like, this is stuff that you have to either learn from someone, right? Or, and or learn as you go along. And so again, if we can collapse time and space, by learning from somebody who, gets that sort of stuff, right? Like, it's so important. So let's have a bit of a chat about our 3 biggest mistakes that I see. So the first one is, everybody, pens and paper, all right? So the first one right now is that you're being too beige. You are literally being too beige, all right? It is not enough to be a fucking basic bitch anymore. Like, it just isn't, And we kind of freak out and we think, oh my gosh, coaching is a flooded industry. Yeah, absolutely, because it's a booming industry. That's a really great thing. It is billions of dollars of an industry, and it's actually only growing, right? So that's amazing. And so if you're sitting there right now and you're like, I'm putting social media out there, like, I'm doing my posting and it's not quite getting traction, or I'm not getting enough engagement, or I'd like to up my engagement, or I want to reach more people, or, again, these are kind of the symptoms that, maybe you're being a bit too basic, right? So the solution is that you need to stand for something. All right. It needs to be clear. You need to go out there. And I'm not saying be completely polarizing like a big fucking jerk, right? It's not that. But you need to have a point of view, because your ideal clients need to be able to latch onto something like, oh, yes. Oh, I love that she's talking about that, or he, or like, oh, I so agree, or fuck yes. Or they want to be, inspired by what it is that you're saying. And the reason isn't because the reason is because them, right? We like people who are like us. So if you're going out there and you're being fucking beige and a basic bitch, then people don't really have anything to latch onto. Like, you want to get a bit of emotion, like, out of people. Who's having this problem at the moment, that they feel like their engagement is low and that their marketing isn't quite hitting the mark and stuff like that, and that kind of a thing, right? Yep, absolutely. Yeah, me, totally. All right. So some of this would probably be in there. Your messaging is like needs to be a little bit more like grunt in it. All right. Like you need to know what you stand for, and you need to know what you stand against. So can we all agree that some of the things that you will hear me say on repeat, right, is like 7-figure business modeling. I won't always talk about it in those terms because people don't know what the fuck it is, right? But I'm always talking about business model, business, high ticket offers, right? Wealth in the hands of women, impact, like, you know what I stand for generally. And if you scroll, down in my social media, you'll see that I'm like, point of view, blah, 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 like that kind of stuff, right? Because not only do we want to attract our most ideal clients, and let me tell you, those people, like we want to attract people who are like us in some way, shape, or form, right? Like all of you, I sit here and I lose my voice when I teach you guys. There is a spark of passion inside of you that is just like so fucking turned on right now by the fact that I'm like, and then this, and then that, and and you're like, fuck yes, oh my God, like, whatever, right? Because you're here, because there's something in me that actually already exists inside you as well. All right. And so, or that you're wanting to like, what is it? Like inflame. That's not the word I'm after, but we'll go with it. You're wanting to like light it up a little bit more, have a bit of a kick in your own butt. All righty. So what we stand for, it is actually also equally as important as to what we stand against. All right. People need to be repelled. And again, it's not about being so polarizing or mean or a fucking jerk. I'm really not into that kind of thing, at all, or that tight style of marketing. But I will go out there and say things that I stand against. All right. Because, in standing against something, you're actually standing for something, and you're attracting the people who are meant to come towards you, and you will be repelling the people who are not. All right. So you will see me talk about action taking and things like that. I do not want to attract people who are simply not willing to invest time, energy, know-how, money, like all those different things, because I don't want to waste my voice. Why would I do that? Where I'm just banging on about the same ignite. Ignite was the word I was after. Thank you. I was like, this doesn't sound right. You want to repel those people. I don't want like, non-action takers. I don't want them, because I'm just like, it's like bashing your head against the wall. And so I will talk about action and non-action in my marketing, because people will go, oh no, it's probably not for me. So this is your permission slip to lean in and be more you. All right. And the more you are, the more money you'll make. So mistake number 2 that I see so many people out there doing is you're going for the jugular. Right. And so what that might look like is that, it would be, it's not great. It's really not great at all in high ticket offers, because if you're going from here is a post to, buy my shit, right? Like, there's a bit of a disparity in there. Now, if you were a mass numbers model where you were fucking hustling for low dollar clients all the time, absolutely, you'd probably just be sending like and slapping links out there and like, and going for the jugular because you can't keep up with the volume. But when you start to step things into a more high end or high ticket or VIP or exclusive or, that kind of a thing, there is a little bit of a process to it. Right? We want to be able to build a relationship equity with people. And so in that regard, as we build relationship equity, and then, we're targeting, upper market, sales actually become a breeze. If you're feeling like, and again, tell me if you've got this symptom, if you're feeling like you're constantly trying to convince people into, almost like a desperation, right? If you're trying to convince people into your deals or offerings, again, symptom, we know something's misaligned, right? In your sales process, in your messaging, in your energy system, in your deliverable, something is out of whack if it's constantly feeling like you're having to hustle and convince people into low dollar programs. All right. So stop going for the jugular. And what we do instead is something that is called the next most logical step. All right. The next most logical step. What is the next most logical step to go from, somebody who has just come into your realm, and we want to play the long game with business as well, and so a little extra mistake that I see is, people are kind of, hustling and like reinventing the wheel and like, okay, I'll put another thing out there and then maybe this offer will land and then that didn't and then and then they're changing their messaging. Like, you need to become known for something, right? So again, you've got to stand for something and you've got to get it out there long term so that it is on repeat, build the relationship equity, and, follow a process when it comes to sort of, sales and sales systems and things like that. Now, the third mistake I see is that you're winging it, right? That you're winging it, like, taking on board anyone with a heartbeat and a wallet, right? That maybe you've had a freak out and you've gone, oh my God, I feel like my niche is too small and actually like I'm going to broaden it so, so that I can attract in more people. Some people are saying, yep, that's me, right? So, and if we go too broad, there's a really amazing marketing saying, you guys, it's speak to many people and no one hears you. Speak to one person and many hear you. So you really need to figure out exactly what your 100% bullseye match, niche is. All righty. And you want to take it to that next kind of level and you want to go out there, stand for something, stand against something, ram it home again and again and again. I'm talking like if this is us sitting here right now, it is, I'm talking, I know what my messaging is for the rest of the year, right? 4 months. I know exactly what we are ramming home. That sounds so bad, but you get the idea, right? I know exactly what, like we are messaging on for the next 4 months. We are not exploding, like as in blowing things up, changing things, whatever it is, like this, and of course we're going to find different ways to talk about these really particular things, but what I see go wrong is if we're winging it in business, we're reinventing the wheel all the time. We try something for 2 weeks. Well, that didn't fucking work. So now we blow it all up and then try something else. And then we just never quite seem to get that traction, across like time and space. All right. So you've got to stop winging it. And if you don't know what it is that you're doing, again, let's have a conversation. All right. Because to be honest with you, and write this down, this is probably one of the most important things that I could say to you today, genuinely. So yeah, people are saying I definitely blow things up. I like variety. Let me just say this quickly first. I like variety. So I often will like change and adjust things and whatever, but I need to know how to channel my desire for change and variety without blowing up my entire fucking business, right? And so we, sometimes it's okay to like a little bit of difference, but we need to understand how to lean into that, in some areas and where to have safety and security in others. All right. So now the most important thing, or one of the most important things that I could say to all of you today, just going to fix my hair, is that you have to understand, right, that coaching is one skill set and business is another. Coaching is one skill set and business is another. And again, a little extra thing I see go wrong is that we, I love learning. You can tell and know, like by all the wanky, qualifications and stuff like that I have. I love to go out there and learn. However, being intelligent enough to not just go get another certificate or qualification or whatever as some kind of bypass or distraction from actually learning strategic business. And a lot of coaches go out there and they're like, okay, well, if I get another modality under my belt, then I'll be able to sell that as one-on-one as well. And maybe that'll help me, get more clients. But you could be the best coach in the world. And if you do not understand strategic business, or you don't have somebody who is mirroring back to you, patterns that are showing up for you in business, like you're winging it, like you've got some imposter syndrome, like your worthiness is out of whack, like you're procrastinating, like you're in avoidance, like you're not ready. You're not that you're not ready, but you need to step into leadership, your leadership codes and things like that. You could be the best fucking coach in the world and you'll still end up broke and with no clients because nobody fucking knows who you are. All right. Coaching is one skill set. Business is another. Okay. And so we need to learn the skill set that is business. And let me tell you, there are fun, like I love business. There are fun ways that we can do it, right? Like, love that diamond emoji everywhere, right? It's so important that you do that, okay, to help you scale and grow, to get the results that you want, to put more wealth in your hands, because the more wealth in your hands, the more you're going to be able to affect your own life and then the people around you as well. All right. And as I said, that's my selfish goal for today. So this theme is going to carry on into our next section as well. All right. And I'll tell you when it's going to sort of pop up a little bit more. But you need to understand that nothing should be happening in isolation in your business. All right. Nothing should be happening in isolation in your business. So again, if you don't have a system, or sometimes we call it even a funnel, you know, or a bit of a process, like this happens, then this happens, then this happens, or people join this, which then drops them into this, and then drops them into that, right? That's what we're here to create for you today. What I see go wrong is that, you know, lots of coaches, again, reinventing the wheel, blowing things up, trying something new, or you'll run a single program that doesn't then go anywhere. You'll be like, I'm going to run an 8-week. And then you run an 8-week, the end. And it's like, oh my God, like, you know, like, where is the on-sale? Where is the upsell? Where's the VIP? What do they do from here? What can they, like, how can they buy from you next? Like, these people are primed and ready, you know, because they've just had you for an amount of time and they've loved that, you know. So what's the next process for them, right? Is there an elevation? Is there another step? Like, what does that look like? Nothing should happen in isolation in business. And what I see go wrong too far often is that, you know, we have 100 different offers for 3 clients. Right? You've got 3 clients, but, you know, if anybody else was to come and join with you, they could have this kind of thing. So we could run some one-on-one, but we've got one-on-one that is actually over 4 weeks, but we've also got one-on-one on 8 weeks. And if they wanted 12 weeks, they could also have 12 weeks. Then they could do a 12-week group program. And we've got 2 different themes for that. But then also, you know, I've got this kind of idea for running like a 1-year thing, but I just haven't got anyone in that yet. And I'm a little bit scared. But then also, I don't know, somebody just reaches out to me. And so sometimes I just create an offer because they said to me like, hey, do you do this? And I just said yes, right? Who's ever done that before? You know, we are all friends here. Sheer honesty, love that. Yeah, me, exactly, right? And so, you know, it's too many offers for too few people, and you're actually going to attract less people, you know, while we're trying to be everything to everybody. You are not here to be everything to everybody. You are here for your most bullseye, as we said, soul client avatar. And the more that we can hone in very specifically on that, you know, then right, you're actually going to attract more of that people. Do you guys want me to give you one more example? I want to give you like a really key example. People are like, I feel personally attacked. So I'm going to give you a quick little example. I wasn't going to give you bonuses, you guys, bonuses. So let's think about this just really quickly. And I want to pick something that is so benign, all right, that it makes sense to us. Because this weird thing happens like when we're selling programs versus if we had a product. And so I want to pick something that's like dog beds. All right. So you could be like a pet store. Okay. You could be a pet store just selling all sorts of different, you know, like goods to pets. All right. To all kinds of pets. All right. So yeah, there's that. But if we take that, this is like niching 2.0. And I want you to think about this for yourself. All right. So then we go, okay, no, we're not going to just sell everything to everybody. We're going to sell dog beds. All right. So now we're selling dog beds. But if you wanted to take that to another level, we're actually selling luxury dog beds. All right. So, we've actually just, you know, upped the pricing of that because we said the word luxury, you know, and there is definitely a market for luxury dog beds, not just old, you know, scrappy dog beds, luxury dog beds. But actually, we could take that one step further. We are selling anti-anxiety luxury dog beds. All right. That's what we call niche 2.0. It's when you take something and you actually kind of take it a few steps further. All right. And that's a really fucking specific thing, wouldn't you say? Anti-anxiety luxury dog beds. Like, oh my God, you know, that industry alone, right? I know businesses. I know this is a business. I know people who run this business, you know, multiple businesses like that. And they make, you know, over $100,000 a month easy, right? And climbing. because they niched down. Now, if they were trying to be like everything to everybody, you know, like, yay, we sell pet store, and now we've got this offer, and now we've got this other thing, and I don't know, we're just not making enough money. We should bring in another product and try to sell that now. You're actually going to sell less. Right? Whereas if you go, right, we're going to become the fucking experts known in our field for this one very particular thing, right? The world expands. Okay, so I want you to have a bit of a think about. That's a little bonus for all of you, niching 2.0. So this was actually a client of mine, Zoe, love her. She is a neurodivergent parent coach. All right. And for her strategy was all wrong, right? She didn't have 7-figure business modeling, literally what we're about to jump into and start to create for all of you. She was doing a lot of one-on-one and getting very exhausted, and her pricing, she needed to up her pricing very much so, all righty? And we needed to keep it in balance because she's a neurodivergent parent coach, which means that we were working a little bit. Australians might know this term. If you're not Australian, you won't know this. Over diversifying is the anti-niche. 100%. Like, yeah, somebody just said, wow, so over diversifying is the anti-niche. Correct. God, I'm going to give you another little business tip. Are you guys okay? Are you okay if I throw in extra things? We just might go slightly over. Alrighty. But I want to give you all the juice. So there's something that's then called, let's take this, love it. Let's take it one step further. All right. Anti-anxiety luxury dog beds. There is then something that is called, and this is advanced. This is advanced business stuff, you guys. So let's just land you with a really fucking hot niche first. We can unpack this. If you need to take things a step further, we can do this together, right? However, there's something that is called lateral diversification and then horizontal diversification, or vertical, horizontal, whichever way you want to say it, right? So what that means is if we have an anti-anxiety dog bed, a luxury dog bed, thank you, lateral or vertical diversification is that we make it in pink, and we make it in blue, and then we make it in 2 different types of material or something like that. So lateral diversification is taking the exact same product and expanding it in a particular direction, all right? Like, so, but it's the same product. Okay, so you should start with something, a particular niche, a program, whatever it is. It's really easy to understand when we're not talking about coaching, isn't it? All right. So you've got an anti-anxiety luxury dog bed, and you could change the color. That is called like lateral or vertical diversification. All right, because it's the same exact product, but we're, you know, for coaching, it could be like we're running it for women, we're running it for men, we're running it for children. Maybe that is the same program, but we're just adjusting it slightly, you know, something like that. Horizontal diversification is then when you go, okay, so we're selling luxury dog beds, you know, anti-anxiety dog beds. Maybe we could sell like a chemical-free, natural anti-anxiety like tablet for dogs as well, or an anti-anxiety, excuse me, I'm going to hiccup at you, dog bowl. All right. So you can see horizontal diversification is actually when you have this, you have a different product, but for the same niche. Now, what we do too far or too often is exactly, we really spread, like we really diversify horizontally, and too far away from the, what should be, you know, the niche, whatever that niche may be, or the specific problem that we are the solution for. All right. So you actually want to pick one thing, do it really fucking well. This is why, again, we know exactly what we're messaging on for the next 4 months, you know, and if something needs to change and adapt, I take real-time feedback and I will adapt it. However, it's like, you know, you want to be known for a very particular thing, and you want to keep bringing that thing home again and again and again. Then once you're, you know, really known for that particular thing and you've expanded, you can then look at maybe some lateral, you know, or vertical diversification, because you've got this thing, you know, you're on a good roll, it's working, it's amazing. And then from that place, potentially like horizontal. Does this all make sense, everyone? Or have I lost you in deep business mumbo jumbo? Mind blown emojis, right? So this is why I say it's really simple when we're talking about something so fucking like, stark like a fucking dog bed. It makes perfect sense. And then when we actually bring it back to coaching, sometimes our brains explode and we're like, no, I have to be everything to everyone. I'm the worst at it, to be honest with you. Like over the years, let me tell you, because, I have so many qualifications, right? Like, and this is not me being a super wanker again, but it's just to say I can coach coaches across the board, like because I've worked and or have all of those qualifications. But coaches is a very broad spectrum, right? And so to niche that down, it needs to be like governed around something else that is far more specific than I'm a business coach to coaches. Because if I was just another fucking business coach to coaches, it would just fall on deaf ears, right? Whereas, if we have all these differentiators that are like, the high ticket offers, wealth in the hands of women, like, all these things, it is actually like, this is who we are and this is what we do, what we do for people, like helping you create your signature systems and programs so that you can scale or grow, all this different stuff, right? Like that is the stuff that's going to be the differentiator, making sense, I hope. So we did that with Zoe, all right? We did that with Zoe. Like we built her 7-figure business modeling. We did a big diagnostic on, what was working, what wasn't working in her business. And that's what I was saying. Her pricing had to still stay within limits to an extent of what's called NDIS. Again, if you're from overseas, that's the National Disability Insurance Scheme. Here in Australia, the government, long story, the government gives a certain amount of money to people with disabilities, and they're able to use that money however they choose. And so people could go and use this particular money that the government gave them with Zoe, all right? And so that was one of her like lateral same product, but was able to do it for for government-based people as well, not just like personal funded people. Same thing, just different, lateral diversification. Anyway, so we did that in the 7 months that we worked together. So we started in May, and by December she had made over $300,000 and retired her partner. Right? Like literally, this is what we were able to do when we simply followed a system, implemented like, really specific niche, isn't it? Neurodivergent parent coach, like neurodivergent. So like it's super specific. And she coaches like the couples together, not just singles, or coach the mom or coach the dad, but coaches like couples together and that kind of thing, right? So we niched it. We fucking niche 2.0'd it. We created her product suite, which we're about to jump into. And this was the result, right? So let me tell you, this stuff works. Okay, who is ready for the 3 high ticket sales secrets? All right, how are your brains? Are your brains okay? So in the last couple of days, we've been talking to you about the 3 money models. Like, woohoo, yay, love that. I've been talking to you about a few particular money models. And this is actually my favorite out of the 3, which is why I saved it today. So high ticket offer sales secret number 1, all right, is called the cash flow quadrants. Okay, who's heard of the cash flow quadrants before? This is Robert Kiyosaki. I'm going to say that wrong. From Rich Dad Poor Dad. All right. Yes, exactly. And so what we know to be true, right, is that 5%, not much, 5% of the world's wealth is in 95% of the population's hands. All righty, so 5% of the world's wealth is in 5% of the population's hands, whereas 95% of the world's wealth is in 5% of the population. All right, so the big question is, how do we go from being part of the 95% of the population who are stressed out, burnt out, overwhelmed, and fucking poor, right, to being part of the top 5%? So here's the thing. This is a little kicker for you. If you are, I know we have people here from Australia, from New Zealand, from America, and from Canada in particular. And actually, we also have the UK. Wow, we are a diverse bunch today. I think that's one of my most diverse ever. So if you guys, like for us, our ability to be part of that 5%, is already like so much more fucking increased than so many people in that 95%. right? Like just by us being born in these countries, and that enabling so much fucking opportunity for us in terms of education, in terms of access, in terms of, you know, like not struggling for, you know, the bare minimum necessities like food, shelter, you know, general welfare and things like that. All right. Like, you know, we have fucking won the lottery of life already. All right. But I do also understand that we are allowed to have one foot in gratitude and the other foot in desire. All right. I get goosebumps saying that, because it is okay for you to be like, yeah, fuck, and actually sit in some gratitude for a second. How fucking entitled we are. Like, how am you are sitting in a free training today on a computer or on a phone. You paid for that computer. You paid for that phone. That is money. You're under a roof. That is money. You have a full belly. That is money. You're wearing clothes. That is money. All right. Like, we are already winning the fucking lottery of life, you know? So we have one foot in gratitude and we have another foot in desire, you know, where we are actually allowed to want for more in our life, where you do not have to suffer in your existence just because other people are suffering on this planet too. And in fact, it is your fucking birthright to be filthy fucking rich. So you need to go after that, so that selfishly we can have more wealth in the hands of good people, so that more good happens in this world. Because that's what I truly believe. And all of you are coaches here. So I know you're going to go out there and do good things with that money. All righty. So how do we go from being part of the 95% of the population to the top 5% and to the top 3% and to the top 1%? Because let me tell you, it is absolutely possible. So the 95% of the population are either employees or self-employed, which means you're employed by your own business. Here in Australia, we would call it like a sole trader. You're the person wearing all of the hats. You're doing all of the things, you know, like all of the service and stuff like that. All right. So that's 95% of the population. The 5% of the population who own 95% of the world's wealth are in fact business owner operators, all righty, entrepreneurs and investors. Okay. So the biggest leap that we can possibly do is to go from that self-employed mindset and step into organizational, operational leadership. Okay. And so at some point in time, and we're not here to talk about this today, but at some point in time, that means you need to, you know, really step into your leadership codes and be supported in doing that. It may mean that you need to bring on some team so that you're not wearing all of the hats, and your time is more your leverage, you know, through having team on board. Seven-figure business modeling also helps support you to have more leverage time so that you have more choice, more freedom, you know, more lifestyle and all of those things that we are here to talk about today. All righty. So you need to stop looking at your business from a self-employed, you know, sole trader, wearing all of the hats, doing the things, right? And you need to actually start future-proofing, thinking more long-term and looking at your business from that organizational, operational standpoint. All righty. That doesn't mean that we're going to take you out of your joy. All right. This is my joy. I'm still sitting here with all of you serving because I love doing this. Right. And so we still want you, like, if it's not joy, fun, play, pleasure, passion, it's not for you. I want you in your greatest excitement. All right. Living that every single day. And if you're living your greatest excitement every single day, let me tell you, you're going to make fucking shit tons of money. All right. We've got to sprinkle in a little bit of strategy in there too. All righty. So that's why I love cash flow quadrants. And I think that this is the most important out of all of the money models that I've shared with you so far. All right. The second secret to high ticket selling is actually this. It's easier to sell high ticket. It's easier to sell high ticket. The problem sometimes is that if you're in a little bit of scarcity yourself and you're pinching your pennies, we sometimes accidentally start to retract, you know, and we start to build these beliefs and these fears that, oh my God, my clients just won't pay that. Or how could I ask somebody for that amount of money when I'm not making that amount of money? Or, you know, all of these different things start, you know, playing into our mind. And so then we start to discount, and then we start to go, oh, 40% off, or, you know, like get a one-on-one session today for X number of dollars, and, you know, all these kinds of things. Let me tell you, competing based on price is a race to the bottom. All right. Competing based on price, write that down, is a race to the bottom. So you've got to figure out, I'm going to help you figure out other ways that are not based in the pricing or discounting, to have people come and want to actually join you, for your amazing service. That is why high ticket isn't actually about raising your prices. It's not that. It's about so much more. All right. But pricing is a spectrum, all right? And there are people like equally along the entire pricing spectrum, right? There are low dollar buyers, there are medium buyers, and there are high ticket buyers, all right? There are equal amounts of people all the way across there. The fact of the matter is it's actually just easier to sell to high ticket people because they have the means, the funds, the desire, they prioritize, they take action. Are we getting it? Right? People value it more. You do not have to twist their arm. They have the money, they prioritize your coaching, and they take less time and energy. Do you know my business coach? My business coach, literally, we have one session every 2 weeks, like one group session every 2 weeks. And I probably get 2 one-on-one phone call sessions a year. Right? And the information that I get in those time periods is so valuable to me, as somebody who takes that information and then goes and takes action based on it, right? That, this person can charge fucking super high ticket amounts, and I get this tiny little bit of time of theirs, and it is more than enough for what I need. Right? Because she says one thing and I'm like, yep, done, action, like whatever. And that's the biggest thing I've noticed. The downtime for high ticket buyers, right, is so much faster because they take the information, they take the action, they do the thing, they come back, they report, they don't waste your time. They're not messaging you at 11 o'clock at night. Like, you're creating independence, not dependence. Right? Love that energy. 100% accurate. Healthy boundaries. Yeah. And I've been there. I've fucking hustled and, had no boundaries, burnt myself out, made myself sick, and it almost is like an anxiety. Who's ever had that anxiety where you're like I have to answer all of the questions and do all of the things, and this person needs me and that person, and and it's like, it actually doesn't have to be that way. And if you just, move to a different area on the spectrum, right? Low ticket buyers, they ask the most questions, and bless them. It doesn't mean that maybe you don't show up and, they could have a free masterclass or something like that. But you're not going to bring those people, if you've got to work with them like every single day, you want to love them as if they are your best friend, and you want to fucking love the problem that you are solving. You don't want to have to be repeating yourself day after day after day, them not taking action, coming back to you, complaining, and you're saying, well, did you do that thing that I told you to do? And they were like, no, I didn't, but I guess I could go do it now. And then murder, right? Like that is, that is resentment, resenting your business, waiting to happen. Who's ever been in resentment in their own business? All right. Resentment is just another symptom of misalignment. And if we jacked up that fucking price and they asked that question and then they went and took action on it, fuck yes, you'd be feeling lit up, like you just simply would. And then you can go and help more amazing humans. So the third, what's the word? These aren't the mistakes. Where are we? High ticket sales secrets, right? The third secret, everyone take a photo. Get out your phones. Woo. All righty. You'll all take it now and I'll be like in like a weird face. So this is called the value equation. All right. So the value equation, what the value equation tells us is that value, all right, value isn't, how do I add a fucking kitchen sink? Because that's the other thing, our scarcity mindset, when we don't have all the dollars that we want, when we're wanting to jack up our pricing, but we think we need to discount something because that's going to somehow get lower dollar people somehow jumping on it, when it's like, no, we should jack up your prices because people are going to value you more, right? People don't value what they don't pay for, you guys. Generally, people don't value what they don't pay for. This is how we know we're getting serious. I'm taking off my rings because I'm like sweaty and hot and energized, right? So I'm like, get those rings off. Dress will be off next. So The value equation basically tells us that value is actually based on completely different things that have nothing to do with you trying to fucking throw in the kitchen sink. All right. So value is, how likely it is for somebody to achieve their dream outcome times the perceived likelihood of them being able to achieve it. All right. So those two things together, their dream outcome times the perceived likelihood of them being able to achieve it. All right. And this is over time delay, which means if you're able to reduce the time it's going to take someone to get to their desired result times by effort and sacrifice. All right, now that's a lot of words. I understand that. These are the 4 things that equal value. If you can communicate to your marketplace effectively that they are going to be able to achieve their dream outcome, their fucking dream outcome. We're not being beige here, remember? Like their fucking dreamiest of dream like outcomes. You need to be able to communicate that to the marketplace and that you're able to increase the perceived likelihood of them being able to achieve it by them coming and joining you, right? While reducing how long it's actually going to take them, all right? And the amount of effort and sacrifice that they will actually have to put in, that equals value. Do we have some brains blown right now, or are you still with me, or do I need to explain more? All right. If you can increase the likelihood of them achieving their perceived outcome, right, while reducing how long it's going to take them to get there, and how much effort and sacrifice it's going to, take. I'll use my business as an example, all right? Magical quantum shifts in collapsing time, 100%, right? And we've got to be able to ground, we've got to quantify those outcomes as well, all right? Super important. So yeah, magical quantum quantifiable shifts and collapsing time equals, you guys receiving the dollars, all right? So in my business, let me give you an example. One of my programs is the Soul Aligned Empire. All right. And in the Soul Aligned Empire, we really help coaches to create, launch, and fill their high-end offers. All right. And we really support coaches long-term within their business, day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, so that you're never alone in your business, having to make the decisions, not knowing what to do. And we support people from those 3 perspectives I mentioned before, which is strategically doing all the business stuff, behaviorally unpacking you, the human mind, and universally, because, I kind of like all these magical quantum shifts and things like that myself. All right. So that's the Soul Aligned Empire. So in the Soul Aligned Empire, as the example, we help people get to that dream outcome, create, launch, fill their high-end offers and high-ticket programs and stuff like that, and be able to run their business long-term, because business is a marathon, it's not a sprint. We are able to collapse time because we are able to support people with, our initial gateway to 100K and beyond in the first 90 days. All right. We literally have a 90-day plan where people come and join us in Soul, and so that helps increase the perceived likelihood of somebody being able to achieve them being able to get their dream outcome, which is, high ticket offer and program out there. And not only that, but filling those bums on seats. All right. The fact that we can do it in 90 days and under, reduces the time delay, launched and filled and the program running within 90 days, and effort and sacrifice. We give people marketing materials, 30-day launch lead in, sales scripts, chat sequences, everything you could possibly need within that 90 days, unpacking your signature program, all of the stuff, right, is 100% success. I wouldn't look, that's a really interesting question. I wouldn't say 100% success, only because there is a human factor that is involved, right? There's a human factor. So I can sit there and say, I 100% know that this works. And the people who take all of the action and do all of the things absolutely get the result. But sometimes when we're doing that within the 90 days, we can come up against some imposter syndrome. We can come up against some procrastination. We can come up against some disbelief, and that will delay the process, right? Because if we don't fix those things, and somebody might start ghosting that I didn't expect that they would ghost because because they're coming up against some of their own worthiness. This is exactly why we do strategic business, behavioral business, and universal business, right? But you can hear how that particular thing, Soul Aligned Empire, and our, even our initial 90-day gateway, sprint as part of that program, ticks all of these boxes. All right, that equals value, not here, let me discount it for you so that you want to come and join. Does that make sense, everyone? Somebody said, holy moly, that's so awesome. Yeah. How can we get how can we get in state before starting 90 days first? That is a really great question. Let me answer that. In the next couple of days videos in our community group. All right. I'm going to talk to you about state. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about state then. All right. And actually today, as we persevere, there is another thing. I will swing back to that. All right. So this is one of my clients, Beck. So she came to me within the first 12 weeks, right? So she had massive limiting beliefs. She was not in state by any means. She was so fucking scared. I remember coaching call after coaching call that we had together. Like she would be crying. But the fucking amazing thing about Beck was that she would be crying and literally coming up against all of this fear, and she still took action anyway, And I honestly, it was like week after week of tears and tears and tears, but she just fucking kept actioning because she knew it was the thing she needed to do. We created her signature VIP program. And within 6 weeks, she made $124,000 plus. Right? Like in 6 weeks. By the end of 12 weeks, she had something like 24 clients within that particular program, right? And in 6 weeks, you've got to think about it. The first 4 weeks was us creating and figuring it all out and putting all the pieces together and then launching. And so within the couple of weeks after that, technically it was like $124,000. Once we got the launch happening and everything was all good, boom. Right? That's what's possible. Okay, we've made it to this part. We're still good. We're still on time. Let me make sure. Oh, I'm just going to throw some things. Hang on. All right. Give me a takeaway. What's your biggest takeaway so far? I'm just going to plug something in that we'll need in a second. What's your biggest takeaway so far? Biggest takeaways. La, 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 la. I'm mind blown. Good. I hope it's like good mind blown. Yeah. Awesome. High ticket gets to be easy. It really does. It's actually easier. Like we think that, it needs to, we're like, no, let's serve the masses and get people on board. And it's like, no, let's go high ticket and bring in more money. Love it. Be do have. Yeah, be do have is like totally it. Like be the person that you need to be so that you can show up and do the things. And then you're going to, have it all, not the other way around. That once we have it, we're going to, feel like we're appropriate. And you've got to future-proof your business. You really do. You guys know, most people know, I have MS, which is multiple sclerosis. I know my demon, right? And yet, we were joking the other day. Do you guys know that I run 3 businesses? We've got a podcast coming out that we're going for top 20. I'm also studying paramedical science right now, literally just for the fun of it, because I can. We have so much going on. And even last Friday, I think I worked 2 hours. Right? Because I know my demon. I know what I need to do to look after myself and future-proof my business. And yet, and I'm showing up and I'm doing these things and I get to be in my joy and I get to make shit tons of money and I get to do a lot of philanthropy work as well. Because to me, money isn't my greatest commodity, time is. Right? Time is my greatest commodity. So if I have a business that gives me the freedom to have lots of spaciousness and time, or multiple businesses, because I like variety, right? Then I'm winning. So yes, I love money and I'm totally comfortable in saying that because money gives me the ability to be able to give back more time and truly be able to affect people's lives. Right? So future-proofing all the way, # future-proofing word of today. Biggest takeaways, yep, future-proof. Wow, who knew that was going to be the thing of today? Imposter syndrome here for sure. Yeah, look, and this is why, it's super normal. It's super normal. Let me tell you a quick little secret, you guys, because we're all friends here, right? We're all friends. So earlier this year, I had a I think it was a $58,000 day, right? I had a $58,000 day, you know, that was a big day, right? You know, and I fucking love money and I love what money gives us, and not in like some money kind of way, but as in like everything I do in business is literally tied into some kind of philanthropic work. Like I don't sprout it all here normally kind of thing, because then I just sound like, again, a bit of a fucking super wanker. And it's not about you guys going, yay, Sky, good job you for giving back. Like we just do it as part of what we do, massively so, right? And anyway, so we had this like $58,000 day or whatever it was. And I was good. This was like, it was like Friday. And then I was good for about 2 days. And I was like, yes, fuck yeah, new levels, love that, you know, all the things. And we were driving home on Sunday afternoon and I felt sick. Like literally, like internally, I was like, and anxious. And I couldn't figure out why. But I'm pretty like intuitive on myself. It took me about 10 minutes and I was like, oh my God, like the enormity of that had just struck me, you know, and the responsibility of that, because I am a good human and I do want to make sure that, you know, people who come into my realm, they get lots of value, that we are humans of integrity, that I practice what I preach, that, you know, like I want people to have 100% success and all of these amazing things. My success, excuse me, your success is my success too, right? Like if you're succeeding, you know, like life well lived for me. All righty. And I realized that was a new edge. I hadn't realized that. And I felt really fucking vulnerable. And like, it wasn't quite imposter syndrome, but it was like the responsibility of that, like, you know, that dollar figure fucking hit me, you know? And I was like, oh my God. Like, and it seems so weird, doesn't it? Because you think, fuck yeah, I'd love $50,000. I'm talking cash, you guys, like cash landed in my bank account, you know? And you'd think, fuck yes, like, you know, we all want that, and I fucking want that too, absolutely. And, you know, it still was a new nervous system moment for me as well. Right. And that's why I say wherever your thermostat is at, you know, you're gonna come up against like these little things. So please don't be like, oh my God, I'm an imposter, I can't take action, I should procrastinate, I don't need to do the things, you know, all the rest of it. Like Beck, you know, we fucking cry, we lay on the floor, we have a cold shower, you know, and we fucking take action anyway. Because let me tell you, one of the biggest, like, if you come and watch my podcast launching soon, you guys, and I'm literally having conversations with millionaires and multimillionaires. Every single person on there is 7 figures and beyond. And what you will find is the through line between them all is that their downtime is a lot quicker. You know, they don't not have meltdowns, right? They have the meltdowns and they fucking pick their crowns up. They dust those motherfuckers off. They put them on their head and they keep going, right? They keep going until, because their dreams and their mission, you know, is so much more like far beyond just themselves. Right, as well, you'll see that as a bit of a through line, that it's much easier to get over yourself and your own like moments. It's not to say you don't have them, but when you're like, fuck, like I want this goal because I want my family to want for nothing, or I want this goal because I want to transform the landscape of fucking humanity, you know, it's a lot easier to get up every day and do the things that we need to do. Is this making sense, you guys? Is this valuable to you? Let me find a tissue. Yes, I struggle with pulling the trigger. Yeah, like super normal. I have ideas. Yeah. And again, lots of ideas. We just want to kind of like nail one, do 1 to 3 things really fucking well, rather than 100 different things poorly. And then, yes, awesome. And then, you know, again, like lateral and horizontal diversification. Once we've nailed that one fucking thing that we end up being really known for and that we do it fucking well, from that place, you can then expand. All right. But if you are struggling in the one area, if you're struggling in one area right now, the worst thing that you could possibly do is then try to diversify, because now in operational organizational business, you've just spread the problems out. Like if you've got a marketing and a messaging problem, don't then create a second business, right? Because you've got to nail marketing and messaging first for this one here, like creating a second business. Now you've got 2 businesses that aren't nailing marketing and messaging. Does this make sense, you guys? right? Like it's so important. And again, this is why I'm all for, like, again, coaches, coaching coaches, right? Like, you know, we get it, like that we need help in those areas that are maybe not our strong suit. All right, 7-figure business modeling. The important thing here is to understand that not all business models are made the same. Some will have you hustling for low dollar clients. You know, I'm hot, I'm blowing my nose, I need water, we're putting on lip gloss. We're having a passionate day, you guys. We're having a passionate day. And go. 7-figure business modeling. All right. So not all business models are made the same. I know that you guys are getting this point now, which is awesome. All righty. Some like mass numbers models will have you hustling for low dollar clients, while other business models will have you in ease and flow and grace. All righty. And you know, making shit tons more money. All righty. Like simply. So this is an Empire Suite, all right? We call this an Empire Suite. This is literally 7-figure business modeling. Again, I teach it as part of all of my programs. You can draw this. You can draw this little diagram on your piece of paper there in front of you, and I'm going to fill in all of the gaps. Let's make sure that this is working. Woo! Hooray. It is. All right, let's do the thing. So we're going to follow the numbers. Okay. So this is a business model. This is a simple 7-figure business model. All right. So that you can simplify your business for the purposes of scalability and growth. All right. And it might not all entirely make sense today, but again, you know, we're going to be able to work together a little bit to help you flesh this out. And you're going to have some pieces as well already. Like, I don't want to blow up everything that you're doing right now, right? We might just need to make a few little tweaks to what it is that you're already doing so that this flows into this, flows into this, this flows into this, flows into this. All right. So I will actually start at the top. I just lied. So at the top, this is yeah, somebody's saying I'm procrastinating. Yeah, and that happens, right? So let's have a chat about this. So at the top, this is all of your lead gen. All right, lead gen. And so this could be, and I'm not going to write all of these down, otherwise the paper is going to get really messy. We call them fishing rods, all right? You want to have multiple fishing rods in the water, okay? So if you want to attract leads and potential clients, like, yes, we need to have good messaging and marketing, conversation for another day, but you also want to have a lot of fishing rods in the water, because when you go fishing, you don't sit on the beach holding a net hoping that like a fish is just going to jump out of the water and land in your net. Like, right? Like, that's not how we go fishing. When we go fishing, we get in the boat, we go out into the middle of the fucking ocean or lake or whatever it is, right? And we put fishing rods in the water so that like fish come and have a bit of a nibble, a bit of a bite, you know, and we can then catch fish. Okay. So lead generation, you know, this could be like this could be events. All right. This could be events. This could be challenges. I am going to write things. Challenges. These could be lead magnets. Okay. Lead magnets. This could be podcasts and interviews, things like that. This could be what else? This could be your posts, but let me tell you, posting is bare minimum. All right. Like, my clients know, like, if you're not fucking consistent, you know, consistently posting, like, fucking consistently posting is bare minimum. All right. It's being basic, right? We need to do so much more than that. It's like emails, and obviously we help support. You know, it's emails. Like, these are all different kinds of lead generation strategies. Okay. And you want to do like a few of them really well. You want to have a bit of a plan around this, you know, not a whole bunch of them poorly. So you could have posts that go out consistently every day. You could turn some of those posts into emails. Let's make it easy for you. Send those out to your mailing list. You could run like a challenge, like a, you know, a 7-day challenge or something like that. You could run one of those a month, or, you know, and you've got marketing going out towards that. You could then have a lead magnet, which could be like it could be anything from like a voice note that you send people to like a cheat sheet or a checklist, interviews and like, you know, do 1 or 2 interviews and podcasts, you know, a month or something. All right. These are all of our lead generations at the top here. So we're literally, you know, we've got lead flow coming in, and it's not about doing 100. It's about doing, you know, a few of them really well. Here at this middle level, we then have some kind of signature All right, program, excuse the writing. It's not easy writing on this thing. Some kind of signature program. It could be like an 8-week, something like that. Or it could be, so some of you are thinking about membership models. I know that. So membership models kind of sit somewhere, there we go. Kind of sit in here, but they also kind of sit down there as well, but we'll get to that in a second. So some kind of signature program, all right? Then down here on the bottom level, we have what we call an MRR. All right. And an MRR is a monthly reoccurring revenue program. Now, what I want to say to you is this is all like group stuff. Okay. If you want leverage time, scalability, and growth, all right, then you need to do one-to-many, not one-to-one. You are allowed to have one-on-one, let me tell you, but one-on-one sits out here. All right. So one-on-one, time being your greatest commodity, means that you need to charge the most for your one-on-one time, because leverage time means that if you're running a program and that program may take you 1 or 2 hours of delivery a week, but you've got 10 people who are in it, then on that 1 or 2 hours, you're going to make so much more, money in that 1 or 2 hours than if you were to just run a single session for one client. Does this make sense, everyone? Have I lost anybody? And then your MRR. So a monthly reoccurring revenue program is something that is more like a 1-year mentorship, 1-year mentorship or something like that. All right. So once you have landing 100%, awesome. So the reason these numbers are the way that they are is because, one, we create a signature program for you first, because that's going to help you catch fish. All righty, because we market to this thing. Then as your signature program is finishing, we actually create you an MRR program. So you don't even have to have this MRR program created at the beginning, right? We can create it towards the end so that when the people up here finish, they have somewhere to go. Because remember, nothing happens in isolation in business. So they can then come and join your monthly reoccurring revenue program. And then all we have to think about is the lead generation. How are we driving, traffic, chats, calls and conversions, so that you can then obviously sign people up into these lower level things. Have I still got you? Is this making sense? All righty. Once all of this is in place, again, all you then pay attention to, predominantly, is lead generation, because new blood is the lifeblood of your business. And then what you can do is you then get to triage, because somebody will come in off the back of whatever your lead generation is, and you'll be like, okay, well, look, you seem a little bit more advanced. I feel like, no. I feel like popping you in, one-on-one is actually going to make the most sense. And so you then get to make offers based in, integrity and intuition, or you could actually sign someone up straight into your MRR. Nobody says that they have to, and you can have it this way, where they have to go through the signature program. For a long time, I just had lead generation and MRR. I didn't even have a signature program. We were just literally signing people up directly into 1 year. All right. In the front end of your business, it can be a little bit trickier. You need to have a bit of relationship equity and a bit of an audience to be able to do that, but it's absolutely possible. All right. So it's 3 simple steps: lead generation, signature program, MRR. All righty. Let's jump onto the next slide, which is called client lifetime value. I want to show you how you can turn, let's say, $1,000 client into a $10,000 client. We're going to do some maths, everyone, literally based on literally based on our Empire Suites. All right. So we've got our lead gen up here. We've got our signature program here, and we've got our MRR here. So let's say you have a signature program. It's running for 10 weeks. All right, 10 weeks. You're going to run it 4 times a year. All right. And each time you run it, 10 people are going to join. Okay. And you're charging like $1,000 for it. All right. So that's 40 people. 40 people throughout the year equals 40 people. Right? Equals $40,000. All right. So you've got did that all make sense? Did I lose anyone on the maths? So you've got a signature program, right? You've got a signature program here. It runs for 10 weeks through the year. You run it 4 times a year, so you get a little bit of time off. And you're going to sign up 10 people each time. So that's 40 people are going to come and join your program. Having a 10-week program that 10 people sign up to, really doable figures here. We're not blowing the budget by any means, all right? Like, this is super conservative figures. So we're charging $1,000 for 10 weeks. Again, that's really fucking conservative, equals $40,000. All right. Now, if you have an MRR program, okay, what happens is if we've got 40 people here, a general conversion rate means that for every 10 people we have, 4 are going to drop down into our MRR. That is a really conservative conversion rate. These people in your signature program are primed and ready to buy from you because they have already bought from you before. All right. So for every 10 people that are there in that signature program, at least 4 of them are going to join your MRR. So if we were to charge $10,000 and for 4 in every 10, that's 16 people a year. All right, is going to come. That is for $10,000 each person. That equals $160,000. All right. That just in itself, you running a signature program 4 times a year, 10 people join each time, you charge $1,000 for it, and this is why we see things go wrong, because people just do it at this level here. And so this is the money that they're making. They're only making the 40K. But if we want to increase what's called client lifetime value, then we want to sell to these people off the back of it, and we want to join them into some kind of monthly reoccurring revenue program where, they pay. So $10,000 is like, whatever, $900 a month, $800 a month, something like that, for them to come and like that. What's that? That's like $200 a week. $200 a week is not that much, right? $200 a week, for them to come and join your monthly reoccurring revenue program, and you got 16 people that are able to come and join that, that's $160,000. All right. Now imagine if you charged $5,000, and $5,000 for an add a zero there. $5,000 for like a 10 to 12 week program is actually really standard. You are absolutely able to charge $5,000 for a 12-week program. So if this is $5,000, what happens down here? What does this then get to become? 15, that would make it a no-brainer deal for them. $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, right? So this down here, monthly reoccurring revenue, is what we call stackable wealth. All right, stackable wealth. It means that the more people that you continue to sign up at this level, the more money you are going to continue to make. This is how I knew I had $20,000 coming in from 2020 to, for 15 months later, right? And then I started making $40,000 come 2021. But in 2020, 15 months in advance, I knew that I was going to be making $20,000 a month. Right? Because it's called long-term stackable wealth. All right. True financial freedom happens at this level. That's an arrow, right? Not up here. And what we see far too many coaches doing is literally just running business based on this level alone, reinventing the wheel, creating another 8-week program, stop, start, all of that kind of stuff. Now, I'm not saying don't have it. And to be honest with you, we would create this signature program to be what's called evergreen. So that people could join it at any time. That's what evergreen means. So you wouldn't even need to just run it 4 times a year. It would just be running all year long. That's a conversation for another day. But you can see, like in all of this amazing scribble, right? That stackable wealth, it actually happens down here. Because what if we signed up 20 people? That's $200,000 at this level alone. What if we signed up 40 people at $10,000 a year? Right? Like you can start to see how this becomes like stackable wealth. I've been taught, all I've been taught is signature programs. Yep, over 6 years. It's all I've been taught. So thank you for sharing this. Absolutely. I'm not saying to not have a signature program. It's just, what did we learn earlier? Nothing happens in isolation in business. Nothing happens in isolation in business. This should not be happening on repeat, on, in isolation in business. You need to have something that is monthly reoccurring revenue, that is, locked in funds that are going to keep coming in. So, because this is going to be, this is a 1-year program, a 1-year mentorship mastermind, whatever you want to call it, so that in advance, right, I've got X number of dollars locked in for the next, year to come. Stackable wealth, true financial freedom. All righty. So we're nearly there, you guys. We've got a few more slides. This was the chunkiest part of it, like making sure that we got to 7-figure business modeling. I really wanted you to understand this stuff. And for anyone who needs to, it really gets to be that simple. That's all it is. That's all you need. Yes, biggest takeaway. It gets to be that fucking simple. This goes into this, goes into this, repeat. This goes into this, goes into this. And then if you want to have some one-on-one clients, remember that one-on-one is charged at your highest commodity. A one-on-one client for me, like for a 3-month period of time at the moment, is about $40,000 for 3 months of one-on-one, right? Like, because I don't just take anyone into my, close one-on-one proximity, because they get like, that additional like level time care, like that kind of thing. All right. And so how many one-on-ones do I really need at any one time? I don't take any more than 3, let me tell you, because it's such a big energy give, because I am a human of integrity, right? And so it's not about the price tag. It's just to say that, fine, if somebody lands in that category, that's fine, but it's charged at the highest commodity. Otherwise, they go into the group program or the group hybrid program with everyone else, so that you are serving with leverage time and stacking your wealth on any 1, 2, 3 hours. Like Soul Aligned Empire, we actually run a few sessions a week. So people can come and land with us. They can ask, questions in the community group. They can come to different coaching calls, like, so we have quite a lot of deliverable and a lot of access, to us, right? But what we're able to do, the reason that the price point on that is, much lower, is because it's stackable wealth. That we can actually manage, to have bigger numbers in a really simple way that gets humans exactly what they need, while at the same time we are able to serve and people get the best of us, not a burnt out version of me, right? Yep. And somebody just said, I have been really making it way too hard for myself. Yep. So we niche 2.0, we get really fucking good, we create that funnel, nothing happens in isolation. Next most logical step. This goes into this, goes into this. And I've got clients who have been with me for 4 and 5 years. I've got clients who have been with me for, 2 or 3 years and stuff like that, because they constantly, as I upgrade at that MRR level, as I learn new things, as I bring, like different things into it, they continue to get something from being in there. They continue to get, like our support, my support, like the community, like they get to be held to a higher standard where other people are out there doing amazing things. You create a beautiful VIP experience. This is what going high ticket is about, right? It's not about just jacking up your price and then trying to throw in the kitchen sink. It's about, creating a really amazing environment and experience where everyone gets to be held to a higher standard, bounce off one another, and can keep coming back, year after year. So for the Alicias, like Alicia just said, all she's learned is the signature programs, right? So What happens when you create an MRR that people can continue to join year after year after year? You've just turned $1,000 client not only into a $10,000 client, let's just use that as the example, right? Because they're easy figures, but you've actually, when they come back to you 4 years in a row, you've just turned $1,000 client into a $40,000 client, right? Are we getting client lifetime value? You know, that's why we need to have this. This is stackable wealth across time and space. And those people who stay with you for 4 years are going to sing you praise. You know, they're not there for nothing, right? So leverage time equals slow down. Yep, you get better client numbers and retention. And yeah, you increase the value and stuff like that. Yep, so you start with 3 and then 2 and then 1. Technically, you start with 1. You know, so if you've got the signature program, then you create some marketing, and then, you know, you get that out there, you get people signed in, and then when they have done your signature program, in the final 2 weeks, we can very easily create a continuation journey for them. Trust me, like, people freak out thinking that they're like, what am I going to teach for a year? Trust me, you absolutely can. I can help you with that. You know, like, it's not as hard as you think. We really get up in our heads. I remember doing this like 5 years ago. Me was like, what the fuck am I going to teach? And who is going to want to come and join me for a year? What would that even look like? You know, and now I wouldn't do anything else, right? Like, we currently currently we don't have a front end program. We have signature programs. We've got Solar Aligned Empire, we've got $1 Million Creatrix, and a few other things going on, but we don't have a pure like 10-week, 8-week. We're not running that right now, you know, at all, like, because we're able to serve like simply at that MRR level, because again, you know, I do business, which, you know, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint, right? Like, we want to help people day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. But if you are at the front end of your business, you know, and you're still building relationship equity and an audience, then yeah, absolutely, you need to be able to give people a taste tester of you. Come and join my 8-week, fucking dote on them, you know, love on them hard, give them an amazing experience, and then, you know, then they are primed and ready and want to come and join you and pick up even more of your beautiful codes in some kind of a longer journey. I feel like an imposter. What do I need to do first to be able to put in? So somebody said, if they're a bit of a worrier and a procrastinator and have some imposter syndrome, what do I need to do first to then be able to be full 110% in? So I have a couple of answers for that. One I'm going to give you now. One is probably coming up. So if you're a bit of a worrier or a procrastinator or a perfectionism, imposter syndrome, and all of these things, the best thing that you can be doing right now is working on you, obviously, like, you know, but what I will also say with that, there are a few ways to hack that. I'll tell you in a minute. And you are never going to be 110% in. You are setting yourself up for failure and sabotaging by having that viewpoint. All right. Like, you've got to find the things that you are super fucking passionate about, like, you know, that you can get really excited for, and you need to step the outcomes outside of yourself, because a lot of us are really used to scarcity and suffering. And so us sitting in scarcity and suffering, it's not our rock bottom. You know, I've had to be really mindful over the years that I'm super resourceful, right? Super fucking resourceful. And I've always been resourceful. I'm super proud of being fucking resourceful, right? And so my pricing thermostat was set at 0. I can absolutely survive with $0, you know? And so it took me a little while to actually step out of that, you know, and have like a financial buffer, you know, I call it my queendom's wealth, sitting in an account, because I love to spend money, don't get me wrong. But I figured out psychologically, it was very easy for me and comfortable for me to be on nothing. All right. And so if I was running that constant program, I feel like I had another point here. If I was constantly running that program of like, you know, who knows what I was talking about here? That's so interesting. Worry, procrastination, imposter syndrome, financial buffers. You are setting yourself. Okay. So I was setting myself up for sabotage, right? By always just running on 0.
running on burnout, running on resourcefulness. Like that was my sabotage pattern. And even though I was super resourceful and I could bend it in a way that sounded really fucking positive, it actually wasn't, because I don't want just stackable wealth or safety and security. Like I want money sitting in the bank, because that's a true safety net. Right. I want to want for nothing. I want to be able to have freedoms of decisions and things like that. So what I'm saying for you is that that your sabotage could potentially sit in this belief that you need to wait until you are 110% ready. That's such bullshit. We're never 110% ready. We are never going to be 100% ready. You need to be willing to act and take action, right? And action is a muscle. All right. Like action is a muscle. So you just need to get used to flexing that action muscle on days when you feel like shit, on days when you don't want to take action, on days like your action taking needs to not rely on your emotions on any given day. All right. And for future proofing in your business, you need to make sure that if you're ever going to be a sticking point in your own business, that you factor yourself out of that in some way, shape, or form, so that again, you're not accidentally sabotaging, like based on your own emotions on any given day. Does that kind of make sense somewhere in there? All right. Like we need to look into self-sabotaging patterns, and you need to act anyway. All right, cool. Yes, feel the fear and do it anyway. It's so like, it sounds like for anyone who knows, Tony Robbins is here in Sydney for UPW. That's about to start, I think, tomorrow and stuff like that. And he's really big on, feeling the fear and doing it anyway. You've got, then speaking of other Robbins, you've got Mel Robbins. She's really great for that piece on being in an emotion like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym today. Fucking go to the gym. You need to hack yourself and stop feeling into whatever the story is of the day. Right? Love to, all of the Robbinses, Tony Robbins, Mel Robbins, they're all great Robbinses. No relation to one another. But yeah, super important. Like, because if I wake up some days and I'm like, fuck, I'm tired, fuck, I have no brain. Some days I wake up and I'm like, who's like that? I sometimes wake up and I'm just brain fog and like exhausted or something along those lines. If my business relied purely on emotionally how I was feeling or whether I was tired or not tired, we'd never get any social media content out there. So I have to create ways around that so that when I do wake up and I'm having a day where I am really tired, business as usual, everything's going out. I can just lay in bed, and just chill without, no guilt or anything along those lines. All right. So you just have to get really good at hacking yourself. And I'm going to teach you something in a second that should help that as well. All right, quick client spotlight. We're nearly there, you guys. We've done so well. I know that we've gone a little bit over time, but I think this has been of value with all the little extra pieces thrown in here. So this is Dana. Dana is an existing client of mine as well. Her challenges was that she came to me and didn't have a lot of time because she's actually she has a hairdressing business and she's a hairdressing business coach. Right. And so she came to me, time poor, and she didn't have a very big audience of hairdressers. She actually had a lot of for whatever weird reason, she had a lot of coaches in her friends list, but coaches coaching other coaches and stuff like that. But what she needed, her audience needed to be hairdressers because that's who she coached, right? So she came to me, time poor, audience poor, right? We gave a 7-figure strategy. We literally, there's a post that we put out. It's called a hand raiser. It is like fucking crack cocaine, you guys. This one post got her over 70 like engagements, interactions. She actually got banned from a very big community because she was flagged as a scam artist or something like that. But it was just because they were threatened because of how well this post that I wrote for her took off, right? But we had future-proofed and taken a photo of all of the 70 people. So we had all the names before she fucking got banned, right? This happened in 24 hours, super quick. Within within like her first few like weeks of working with us. This was about a month in. Within a few weeks, she made $46,000 in a fortnight, right? To go from basically making nothing in her coaching business, to 70 like engagements on one post alone that we gave her. And off the back of that to sell, $46,000 worth of clientele. What did she have? She just had, I think she just made her, because this is a few clients to make 46,000, but she's been upping her prices since, because this was a little bit earlier this year. And I think she just had like a $24,000 day. Like, I have to go and look at that. I have the photos because she sent me that message and I took a photo because I was like, oh my God, I'm using that as a post. Right? Like, so this is what's possible. Okay. This is going to answer some of that. What happens if I'm a bit of a procrastinator, or I don't know what action to take, or I have lots of ideas, or, all the different things. Okay. We're going to ground it in this little diagram right here, right now, for anyone who's thinking that, and isn't sure what's their next best, move and action to take. Right. So this is the opportunity, you guys. And when I say this is the opportunity, what I'm also saying to you is this is what is on the fucking line. All right. This is what is on the line. A dream life by design, not by default. And so many of us, even coaches, right? And we think we know better, yet we're still out there living on default, living to the story that we're telling ourselves, living to the emotion of any given day, living to, like the fact that, like being a victim of the fact that we don't understand business or something like that, right? Like this is what is on the line. Your dream life by design, not by default. So here's the thing. The opportunity lies in the fact that I've just given you the fucking vehicle, right? Like, wouldn't we agree that high ticket offers and that Empire Suite, that very simple 7-figure business model, right? It's 7-figure business is not complicated because complicated business is not scalable. Like, it's just not. We hit that time, energy, and client ceiling because we're like, and we sabotage because we're like, oh my God, if I have to bring on one more client while I have no boundaries and I'm just give, kitchen sink, I'm going to fucking like burn out and, die in overwhelm or something like that, right? So we accidentally sabotage our growth. 7-figure business is simple business. All right. And I've just given you the exact vehicle that you need as a coach to be able to scale and grow. Now, the other ingredient that we need is the right environment. Okay. This is probably the most important out of all of the ones here. The right environment is an environment that holds you to a higher standard, that expects more from you. It gives me goosebumps, right? Because literally, like when I think about my podcast, that's coming up, as I said, and I was creating it and I'm like, what do I want this to be? And I knew that I wanted to just interview like multi-7-figure, 7-figure and multi-7-figure people. And I actually was getting a little bit stressed about it. And I was like, what am I going to do? And some imposter syndrome was creeping in because I was like, how am I going to get these amazing next level guests? And then I fucking realized that they're all my friends, that the right environment, like I'm so lucky, yay me for a second, that now for my amazing podcast that's coming out, I'm literally just hanging out with my fuck yes amazing friends and interviewing them and talking to them about what lights them up and what they're super passionate about in business and, and drawing all of the juiciness about you. And these are people who hold me to a higher standard as well, right? Like, and we inspire one another. So the right environment is fucking everything. And I'll give you another example of that in a second. So the right timing. Here's the little trick. Again, you asked, like, when's the right time? If I'm waiting until I'm 110% in, that's not how to look at time, right? We are dying every single day. That sounds very dramatic, but we also get to choose to live every single day. Like, how lucky we are that there is breath in our lungs. So the right time was last year. All right. It was a year ago. That was the right time, but if the right time, we can't go back in time, the right time was yesterday. Well, you didn't start yesterday either. So the right time is right now. Okay. And you can't wait You know, like I told you guys before, let me give a quick example. I told you guys before, like, I've got lots of things going on right now. You know, I'm running 3 different businesses. You know, we're launching a few things. We've got a podcast coming up for, you know, top 20 in Australia in the business category. Like there's all these different things going on. And then I was like, you know what I'd like to study? I want to study paramedical science because just for fun, literally just for fun. And so that I can go and give back time on the weekend because I love a good injury. I used to do St. John's ambulance. So I'm taking it to another level now. And again, I love to learn and things like that. And when I sat down to make that decision, I had a million reasons why right now was not the right time. A million, you know, I've got this business, I've got that business, we're growing this thing, we're doing this other thing, I've got this coming out, I've got that, you know, like a million reasons to not do it. And I went, but if I don't do it now, then I'm going to start in like a year. And if I start in a year, well, in a year's time, I could have already been a year ahead. It would, you know, I would have already learned half the things that I needed to learn. So why wouldn't I just start now? Right? So the right timing is right now. And the other piece, you know, the other opportunity in a dream life by design, not by default, is the right you. And the quickest way that you can hack your existence and be the right you at the right time with the right vehicle right now is by putting yourself in the right environment. That is actually the quickest way that you can be called out on your own bullshit, have a mirror held up to you, but as well as having people that will hold the belief in you on those days when the belief in when your own belief in yourself falters. All right? Environment is everything. Now, these are the 2 things that are holding you back right now. Fear, right? Fear of the unknown, fear of like worthiness, fear of change, fear of, you know, fear of success, fear of failure. Let me tell you, fear of success actually gets more people than fear of failure, right? Because we're used to hanging out in a little bit of suffering, a little bit of scarcity and things like that. This is a comfortable, known place for us. What is actually hard is succeeding. You know, what is hard? Right, is a $58,000 day and then going, oh my God, like, you know, and having to alchemize that, right? Like we had to get rid of the imposter syndrome. What is hard is taking action, like sitting in that fear and taking action anyway. But what is on the other side of that is your dream life by design, not by default. Like magic happens on the other side of you pushing into your edges. And as I said, you know, the quickest way to do that is by putting you in the right environment that is going to hold you to that higher standard, that is going to give you the information that you need, full of other people who are up leveling and, you know, and are doing the do, sitting in fear and taking the action anyway. All right. Think about it like this. If you were trying to lose weight and you had a partner at home that was constantly eating like bad foods and sabotaging you, are you going to easily be losing weight? Probably not. But if you had a partner that was super supportive of everything that you did, you know, like loved hard on you, cooked meals for you that were like, you know, healthy and amazing and all the different things, you know, are you then in the right environment that is going to give you that ability to achieve your goal even on days when it feels a little bit hard? Fuck yes to that. All righty. So what I want you to think about as we just round everything up today is that you can't be annoyed at the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do. All right. You can't be annoyed at the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do. And I have coaches come to me and they say, Sky, I've tried all these different things, right? And I sort of sit there and I go, okay, like how long did you try it for? What else did you try? What was another way? What lessons did you learn? How did we then adapt that? Like, you know, the idea is, and I'm going to bring you a video in the next couple of days, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoiler alert. You need to keep going until. Because what is on the line is your dream life by design, whatever that means to you. All right. And the best time is right now to go after it. So for those of you who qualify, as we've already discussed, you know, there will be impact and integration calls next week. So please reach out to me, you know, for those, you know, we've already been talking and things like that. On that call, we're going to be able to discuss like your high ticket offers and your offer suite and what's going to suit and help you best. All righty, we're going to discuss your personal pathway to success. Somebody saying, thank you, great experience. This was beyond amazing. Bless you, love you. Thank you for being here. We're nearly there. I promise. I want to hear your biggest takeaways, right? In our calls, we're also going to be able to create a customized strategy. All right. We're going to look at the 7-figure business modeling, see what it is that you're already doing that's amazing. I don't want to blow up what you're doing. I just want to like make it make more sense so it flows for you, right? And we're going to talk about how you're going to be able to best monetize all of that as well, because you get to be spiritual as fuck, happy as fuck, and banked as fuck too. All right. Now, just remember, if anything has triggered you from today's lessons, the universe doesn't test us when it's easy. It tests us when it's hard. All right. It wants to know that you have staying power and that you truly want the dream life that you are going after. All right. And this is why you need to have such a big why that is so much more you are allowed to want for yourself, but I highly recommend you wanting for something greater as well, so that on those days when the universe is testing us, when everything feels really fucking clunky and hard, you will just keep going until, because the universe doesn't test us when it's easy, it tests us when it's hard, and it wants to know that we have staying power. We made it. Amazing. All right, give me a couple of your biggest takeaways for those who are still here. Give me a couple of your biggest takeaways. It has absolutely been my joy to serve every single one of you. Thank you for sticking in there. I know we've gone over time. How very like me to do that, but I feel like we got a lot of juiciness in there that you're now going to be able to take 1 to 3 things from all of that. You're going to be able to grab all of those different bits and pieces, go out there, and really start to transform your business and therefore your life. Give me a couple of takeaways just in the comment box. I want to hear what has been the most beneficial for you individually. Excuse me as I just hiccup. Oh my gosh. That you're going to transform now. Somebody said we need to have systems. Absolutely. Like really having like an amazing product suite. Nothing happens in isolation in business, right? That 7-figure business is actually simple business, be in the environment, that calls you to take action. Absolutely, right? Because if it's just us, sometimes like we get a bit wobbly and things like that, right? And so that's why I said I'd answer your question a little bit later too, because that is honestly, putting yourself in environments that hold you to a higher standard so that you can step up into that new identity of yourself, somebody who fucking takes action, somebody who goes out there after the things that they desire, somebody whose why is much bigger than just, I like to help people and I want to make some money. That's great, but that might not motivate you on the days when things feel really hard. Like I said, I was so used to being on zero. If making money was my only go-to why, then I'd probably just stay in bed some days, but I want to make massive fucking impact and unlock greater human potential. And I want to serve amazing transformational leaders just like you. And so I don't show up every day for something like this for me. I show up for you, right? Something that is far greater than myself. And because you then get to show up for your people. And in that regard, we're transforming humanity. Pretty fucking awesome, right? Taking the action and living the dream is no accident. It happens by design with intention. Absolutely, right? I love that. What an amazing one to finish on. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for those who are watching back. I know there will be a few of you, and I look forward, reach out to me. I'm here. I'm a real human. I want to hear from you, and let's build amazing, fuck yes, mission-driven empires together. So much love. Bye, 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 bye.